plug in a USB keyboard, not remote, it's totally USB operated, because a bunch of keys popped off. And I worked with it with the keys popped off, but then the plastic little nubs under the keys, even like one or two of those ripped off. So I officially had to get, like, you know, a portable keyboard. Just walking south on 19th Street on the west side. I used to walk this street, God, 1,000,002 times. I lived down here for 8 years. I was kind of stuck, some would argue human trafficked, through dog walking, because I wound up dog walking to avoid, hold on, let's wait for the loud. I wound up in dog walking because I worked in several places here, like normal-ish jobs, and weird things kept happening. I think I'm on a special path. And it got so weird that it was intolerable. So ultimately, something that I did sometimes on the side, I didn't always do it on the side, dog walking and cat sitting. I decided to just like try to do it more full time. I wound up in an apartment down here south of Sharon Savings Bank. My name is Sharon. Do you think it's orchestrated? I'm not in the know. Some sadistic MFer is. Also, my first taxable paying job was Burger King, and then I wound up at MBNA Credit Card Bank. And the credit card bank, their first headquarters was called the Cole House, and my last name is Cole, so Sharon Cole. So do these people owe me money? Sharon Savings? Because I lived right down there while I was being harassed to death. Oh look, it's an alert 1, violations corrected, 215-75-1111, and it's 1111. Alert 1, fire protection. With a red car behind it, a Honda Pilot. Oh no, it's a Dodge Journey or similar. A baby blue bike lock, the old gym lock from school, hanging out here on this here at 606 South 19th. So all of that could be read by people who walk around the city reading intel a certain way. I would have to be told. And when I said way, I accidentally sounded like way. So the Cole House was the first building of Maryland Bank North America Credit Card Company. Most people of my age and generation had a card from them. They were on the pioneering edge of credit cards, that whole industry. So Ducks Unlimited, National Education Association, National Rifle Association, Elton John AIDS card. If you had a preference or things that you liked, an affinity for soccer, baseball, football, they had a credit card for you. And sometimes proceeds from your charges would go towards whatever group you had an affinity for. So I can hear a door opening on the left behind me. And that sound there, 621, I saw her earlier. And she walked south and I walked west along Addison, Waverly. I was on Waverly. I was here for all those 8 years. I was in this very first floor apartment. There's a New York Times, that's a new one, a newspaper here for these. These are apartments. There's 1, 2, 3, there's 4 apartments in here. 2 on the bottom, 1 on the second, 1 on the third and a half. Like it kind of is like Tetris-y a little bit. There used to be an air conditioning unit in that window. It looks like they might have installed central air. Also, the windows were prettier when I was there. They had these long curtains, and that was more the attractive part of that apartment, which is very small. It's like the front half of that row home. This is one of these stop signs where you just don't even bother. You just let people go because of how bad it is. So anyway, the Cole House and Sharon Savings. Do you think those companies owe the Cole family, which would be myself and my sister only, some money for harassment? We were the only 2 who worked there from our family. I think they do. That's right. So they sold out to MBNA credit card, although I have a step sibling who wound up more on a separate side. He was at an airplane hangar working, but he doesn't deserve the money, trust me, because he's already a thief. That's so funny. So I do believe my sister and I were raped and terrorized to death our whole lives and wound up serious victims. One older, and her victimization manifested in a whole different way. So it's easy to look at some people and try to discredit them or blame them, but what if she is showing how much she was victimized? Anyway, Rise, they've been here a while, this half house. Dad on University of Pennsylvania Road, Drexel and Buchanan. This is southwest. It's south and a little bit west of where I live, but it's, you know, very south of where I live. I went through a homeless time period for about a year. And during that time period, I was in a van for 6 to 8 weeks. I guess it was 6 weeks. Anyway, the van got compounded or whatever you call it. I was charging it on my credit card because I didn't know what to do. There's a whole reason this happened. If you were to have a handler and the handler told you, you will no longer walk dogs because all these people need to go to federal prison. This is so bad we need to drag you into the underground and pull you out without people necessarily understanding what's going on, because everybody thinks they know everybody's business. At a higher level, it wouldn't just be like nosy neighbors, it would be like full-on spies who are spying illegally on Sharon and Cole. That's right. They want to be spies, we'll call them spies. They all think they're important, we'll let them be important. So during that time period, I called around to 5 million people who were either clients or people I knew, who I volunteered with in groups and stuff like that. It's a helicopter somewhere. And my neighbor from 624 South 19th Street, he and his wife's son was living in a place down here on Webster Street, so I stayed there for about 10 days. It was kind of gross there. It was like a really bad sophomoric, you know, like a bad fraternity member who never cleaned. So it was icky. But it was the dead of winter, and I was happy to have a place to stay. Although I had to use GoFundMe to drum up some money because they were asking for money. That's how selfish and in federal prison they could be in the future, because I had to report that to the CIA, the FBI, and Homeland Security. But at least on the bright side, the Philadelphia Eagles won the Super Bowl while I was there. Isn't that neat? Wonder why or how they won the Super Bowl while I was homeless. Do you think there's a correlation? So I'll show you the house really quick. Here we are in Webster. They fixed it up because I've been down here since I had to stay here, but you can tell it's the one oddball house on the street. All these other houses are really tall, and then 1905 is not.